So this is how I started my ombre nail. I practice a lot on these little, practice nails when I was doing my own self-taught journey, and I would do them over and over and over and over and choose the best one. So I'm going to show you how to perfect your ombre nails, even if you didn't fade the white correctly to the cuticle end, because there's a technique that you can use to create these beautiful ombre nails by feathering the white back to the cuticle, that it don't leave that line across on your beautiful faded or ombre nail. So now you're probably thinking that's gonna create a harsh line, but let me show you an easy way that you can get rid of harsh lines when you're doing your ombre nails. I'm just gonna allow this to dry, because when it's dried a bit more, then when you place the nude or the cover pink on top of that line, then it won't smudge and create a muddy look. So right now I'm just trying to soften it a bit. So this is how you do it with a wetter bead, and then you'd fade back to get that feathery, nice faded white. But I want to show you, you can create, if you made a mistake and you wanted to fix it, this is how you do it. I'm using the cover pink, salmon is in the fish, and I'm just going to layer it on where that white started, and I'm just going to place it on, let it run, let it do its thing. It needs to be free flowing, so it needs to run where it wants to run, and then you use your brush to guide the acrylic. And you're going to be using soft, gentle touch. You're going to be using the tip of your brush for most of the feathering, because if you use the belly of your brush, you're going to use too much. You're going to cover too much area of the nude. And look at that. That is like a really good fade. All right, so we're going to allow that to dry. And I always try to dry a little bit in between application or between beads pickup, because as I said before, you don't want it to be smudged. You want it to have that nice, consistent of the white, then the pink flowing to create that nice, fade between the white and the pink. Right, so after I've let it dry a bit, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add a clear acrylic powder, which is to seal the fade. I want to seal the fade because I don't want that to get smudged out. So if something happened, I can always file that off and it still remain that nice fade. So I'm going to come in with a drier bead. So I'm blotting off my brush and I'm going to create the second layer right on top of the last excuse me, layer of nude acrylic powder. So I'm creating a depth, like a darker or deeper tone as I'm trying to conceal the joining. So don't you worry if your joining is showing. Excuse me, let me just clear my throat. If your joining is showing where the faded pink meets the white, don't worry, just let it dry in between and then add small beads of like drier acrylic powder on to make it more opaque. And I'll show you here as I'm drying this, I can see the line fading. You can see the line there still, but look how I'm gonna get this line totally, completely gone. If it's not gone, then it's like wherever the light shines, you may find a little bit of line through, but in my eyes, it's done enough so it won't look too joiny. Right, so I place the third bead right on top of the second bead. and I'm just lightly bringing it down. I don't want to go all the way down to the white because I've already faded that bit. So we're just building the apex, and we're just building the strength now of this nail. So you can see it's getting a bit more opaque, and I'm going to allow that to dry again in between. You can tell that it's looking a bit more. You can hardly see where the joining is. Yeah, you can tell, which is trust the process. So I'm going to come in again with the last bead, and I did not block that bead. I kind of left that bead a little bit wetter because I wanted to fade it in and make it smoother. And I think I did add another bead. I'm not sure. I think I did, and then I capped it with some clear acrylic. But you will see as I did record all of the process, because I wanted to show you that you don't have to panic. You can still see it a little bit, but remember the acrylic is still wet, so just give it some time to, you know, polymerize, and then we can actually see it. I know, newbies, this is a bit daunting, but don't be. Have fun when you're doing your nails. It should be total fun. And you can experiment. Buy a lot of these finger practice things. They're on Amazon. You can pick up a whole pack for a little bit and nothing. And, you know, just practice on it. But anyways, here I'm just adding the clear acrylic on top because I wanted to seal the fade. And when I file, I wouldn't have to take off so much. And, you know, go into my beautiful faded white and pink acrylic. And there you have it. You have a nice looking ombre nails that even if you didn't fade the white line, you still can do it, and it still comes out beautiful, and it's not going to be thick, and you can't tell much where the line is. Let me show you a close-up. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to show you. Look at that. Beautiful. 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 You can hardly tell. But this is just in case you forgot to do the line out. You can use this. And this is my brand of acrylics. And it's called, this color is called salmon, as in the fish.